Our/malicious compliance parents chose Stepfamily over my birthday, so I ruined theirs. Our/malicious compliance parents chose Stepfamily over my birthday, so I ruined theirs. I'm standing in the middle of a restaurant with 3 tables pushed together, 18 candles melting into a grocery store cake, and exactly 0 family members present. The waitress keeps shooting me these pitying looks like I'm some abandoned puppy, and honestly, that's exactly how I feel. My phone buzzes with the same text I've been staring at for the past hour. So sorry, sweetheart. Mia's recital ran late and now there's a cast party. We'll celebrate tomorrow, promise. Love you. Birthday cake, red heart. Tomorrow. My 18th birthday, the one we've been planning for 2 months, gets bumped to tomorrow because my 15-year-old stepsister's community theater performance of some obscure musical nobody's heard of is apparently more important. This isn't the first time, and that's what makes my hands shake as I blow out the candles alone. It's just the latest in a 3-year pattern that started the day Dad married Linda and inherited her perfect little family. Let me paint you the picture of how we got here. 3 years ago, Dad was still trying to make up for the divorce. I was his priority, his buddy, his main squeeze as he used to joke. Then Linda waltzed in with her 2 kids, Mia, the talented dancer, and Jake, the gifted athlete, and suddenly I became background noise. It started small. Dad missing my soccer games because Jake had baseball practice. Skipping my honor roll dinner because Mia had a crucial rehearsal. Each time, the excuse was reasonable. Each time, I swallowed my disappointment and told myself to be understanding. But tonight? Tonight was supposed to be different. We planned this dinner 3 weeks ago. Dad circled the date on his calendar in red ink. Linda promised she'd make her famous chocolate cake from scratch. Jake and Mia both confirmed they'd be there. Then yesterday, Linda suddenly remembered that Mia's recital was tonight too. What a coincidence. Dad looked genuinely torn for about 30 seconds before Linda started going on about how this was Mia's big break and how a talent scout might be there, and how could they possibly miss something so important for their little star. I watched my father's resolve crumble in real time. You understand, right, kiddo? You're mature enough to handle rescheduling. But Mia's just 15, and this opportunity. The worst part? I said yes. I actually said I understood and that we could celebrate tomorrow because I've been trained to be the reasonable one, the flexible one, the one who doesn't make waves. So here I am, paying for my own birthday dinner with money from my part-time job, while my family fawns over Mia's mediocre performance across town. The waitress approaches cautiously. Honey, do you want me to box up some of this cake for you? I almost laugh. Almost. Instead, I pull up Instagram to distract myself and that's when I see it, Jake's story from 2 hours ago. He's not at any recital. He's at Dave & Buster's with his friends, very clearly having tagged his location. My finger hovers over the screen. If Jake's not at the recital, then what the hell was so important that my entire family bailed on me? I start scrolling deeper, and that's when the first thread starts to unravel. Because there, in Mia's story from this afternoon, is a picture of her in regular clothes with a caption, "Ugh, so bored at home." Not in costume. Not at a theater. At home. My birthday dinner just became very interesting. I screenshot everything before it can disappear. Jake at Dave & Buster's at 6:47 p.m. Mia lounging at home in pajamas at 5:23 p.m. with movie night with Mom 2 hearts as her caption. My hands are trembling as I piece together what actually happened. There was no recital tonight. There was no cast party. There was no talent scout. They just didn't want to come to my birthday. The realization hits me like a physical blow. I've been sitting here making excuses for them, assuming something legitimately important came up, when the truth is so much worse. They orchestrated an elaborate lie to avoid spending my 18th birthday with me. I'm furious, but underneath that anger is something more devastating. I'm not even surprised. Of course they did this. Of course Linda found a way to make sure her precious babies didn't have to waste their Friday night celebrating boring old me. My phone buzzes with another text from Dad. How was dinner, kiddo? Sorry we missed it. Mia was absolutely incredible tonight. You would have been so proud. Glowing star. The audacity is breathtaking. He's doubling down on the lie, probably while Linda coaches him on what to say in the background. I'm about to type something scathing when I stop myself. Getting into a text fight right now won't accomplish anything except making me look like the dramatic teenager Linda already thinks I am. But I'm not going to let this slide. Not this time. Instead, I take a different approach, no worries. Sounds like an amazing show. I'd love to see pictures when you get a chance. Dad responds immediately, of course. Linda took tons. We'll show you everything tomorrow. Perfect. Now they have to manufacture evidence of an event that never happened, or admit they lied. I'm curious to see which route they choose. The drive home gives me time to think, and by the time I pull into our driveway, I've made a decision. I'm done being the understanding one. I'm done being flexible. I'm done watching Linda's kids get treated like royalty while I get their leftovers. The house is dark except for the living room, where I can hear voices and the TV. I walk in to find all 4 of them sprawled across the couches like this is any other Friday night. Linda's in her ratty bathrobe with a face mask on. Dad's got a beer and his feet up. Mia's painting her nails, and Jake's destroying a bag of chips while playing on his phone. They all look up when I enter, and I swear I can see the exact moment they remember they're supposed to be somewhere else. Hey sweetie. Linda says, her voice artificially bright. You're home early. How was dinner? Great, I reply evenly. How was the recital? Oh, it was wonderful, she gushes, shooting a look at Dad. Mia was just spectacular, weren't you, honey? Mia, to her credit, at least has the decency to look uncomfortable. Yeah, it was, good. I can't wait to see the pictures, I say, settling onto the couch like I belong in this cozy family scene. Dad said you took tons, Linda. The silence that follows is exquisite. Linda's face mask is doing her no favors in hiding her panic, and Dad looks like a deer in headlights. Well, Linda stammers, you know how theater lighting is. Very hard to get good shots. That's too bad, I say sympathetically. Maybe some of the other parents got better ones? I could check their social media. Now Jake's looking up from his phone, finally sensing the danger in the room. This is the moment everything changes between us, and we all know it. Dad clears his throat and shifts forward in his chair, clearly deciding to take control of the situation. Listen, kiddo, we need to talk about tonight. Absolutely, I interrupt, my voice honey sweet. I'm dying to hear all about it. Jake, you must have loved this show too, right? I know how much you support your sister. Jake freezes mid-chew, a chip halfway to his mouth. His eyes dart between Linda and Dad like he's watching a tennis match. Yeah. It was really good. What was your favorite song? I ask innocently. The panic in his eyes is beautiful. I don't. I mean, they were all good? Come on, I press gently. There had to be one that stood out. Mia worked so hard on this show. I turn to my stepsister, who's gone completely pale under her black nail polish. What was the name of the musical again? I want to look up the soundtrack. Mia opens her mouth, closes it, then looks desperately at her mother. Linda's face mask is starting to crack, literally and figuratively. Sweetie, you seem upset. Why don't we just focus on planning your makeup celebration for tomorrow? Oh, I'm not upset at all. I beam at them. I'm actually really impressed. You all managed to coordinate this story so well on such short notice. Very thorough. The temperature in the room drops about 10 degrees. Dad sets down his beer with a heavy thunk. What exactly are you implying? I'm not implying anything, Dad. I'm just curious about the details. I pull out my phone with theatrical slowness. See, I was feeling pretty lonely at dinner, you know, eating my 18th birthday cake by myself, so I was scrolling through social media to cheer up. Linda actually flinches. And I found the most interesting posts. I swipe through my screenshots. Jake, you're really photogenic. That action shot of you at the arcade around 7 o'clock came out great. Jake goes white. I can explain. And Mia, I love your pajama set. Super cute for a movie night at home. Though I have to ask, how did you manage to change so fast after your performance to post that story at 5:23? The silence is deafening. I can hear the neighbor's dog barking 2 houses down. Dad's face cycles through confusion, realization, and anger in about 3 seconds. Are you telling me, he says slowly, turning to Linda, that there was no recital tonight? Linda's face mask is definitely cracking now, little white flakes falling onto her bathrobe. David, I can explain. The kids didn't want to. The kids didn't want to? Dad's voice rises. We missed our daughter's 18th birthday because your kids didn't feel like going? She's not my daughter, Mia mutters, and the words hit like a slap. Excuse me? Dad stands up, and I've never seen him this angry. Not even during the divorce. Mia, don't, Linda warns, but the damage is done. What? It's true. Mia's voice gets defensive and shrill. She's always trying to horn in on our family time, and we just wanted one night to ourselves without having to pretend we care about her stupid. Enough. Dad's voice booms through the house. But I'm not done. Not even close. It's okay, Dad, I say quietly, standing up. At least now I know where I stand. I look directly at Linda, whose face mask is now falling off in chunks. Though I have to say, Linda, this isn't the first time you've been creative with the truth about your kids' achievements, is it? Her face goes ashen. What do you mean? I smile, and it's not a nice smile. Oh, we're just getting started on story time. I can see the exact moment Linda realizes she's walked into a trap. Her eyes dart toward the stairs like she's calculating if she can make it to her bedroom before I detonate whatever bomb I'm holding. What are you talking about? She asks, but her voice has lost all its artificial sweetness. Well, I say, settling back into the couch like I'm getting comfortable for a long story. Since we're all being so honest tonight, I figured we might as well clear the air about a few other things. Dad sinks back into his chair, looking between Linda and me like he's watching a car accident in slow motion. What other things? Jake, I turn to my stepbrother, who's trying to disappear into the couch cushions. Remember last month when you told Dad you made varsity baseball? That was interesting news, considering I saw Coach Martinez at the grocery store yesterday. Jake's face goes from white to green. You talked to Coach Martinez? Oh yeah, we had a lovely chat. He was so confused when I congratulated him on having you on varsity. Kept insisting you were still on JV. Even pulled up the roster on his phone to double check. I tapped my finger against my lips thoughtfully. He seemed really concerned that there might be some miscommunication. Linda shoots to her feet. Okay, that's enough. Jake made an honest mistake. Did he though? I interrupt. Because that honest mistake got him a brand new car as a congratulations gift. What was it Dad said? Nothing but the best for my varsity athlete? Dad's face is cycling through emotions faster than a slot machine. Jake, is this true? I was going to try out for varsity. Jake protests. I mean, I still might make it next season. You lied to me about making the team to get a car? Dad's voice is deadly quiet. It wasn't like that. Linda jumps in. He just got his hopes up and Mia, I continue cheerfully, should we talk about the art scholarship you supposedly got offered? The one that convinced Dad to buy you that professional easel set and enroll you in those expensive private lessons? Mia drops her nail polish bottle. It shatters on the hardwood floor, spreading black paint like an ink blot. That's different. The teacher said I had potential. Potential and a full ride scholarship offer are two very different things, I say. Mrs. Henderson was very chatty when I volunteered to help set up for the art show last week. Apparently, she's never offered a scholarship in her life. The community center doesn't even have scholarship programs. The room is so quiet I can hear the nail polish seeping between the floorboards. Dad stands up slowly, like he's aged 10 years in the past 5 minutes. Linda. Office. Now. David, please, let me explain. Now. They disappear down the hallway, but their voices carry. I can hear Dad's low, angry rumble and Linda's high-pitched defenses, though I can't make out specific words. Jake and Mia sit frozen on the couch like two deer caught in headlights. This is all your fault, Mia hisses at me. We were fine before you started stirring up drama. Were you though? I ask genuinely. Because living a lie seems pretty exhausting. All those stories to keep straight, all that fake evidence to manufacture. Like tonight's recital photos you'll never be able to produce. Jake finally speaks up, his voice small. Are you going to tell him about everything else? Everything else. My heart races because that question confirms what I suspected. Tonight's lies are just the tip of the iceberg. What everything else, Jake? He clamps his mouth shut, but the damage is done. There's more. So much more. And I'm going to find out exactly what they've been hiding. The voices from Dad's office are getting louder, and I can make out individual words now. Manipulated. Lies. My daughter. That last one makes something warm unfurl in my chest. When's the last time Dad called me his daughter with that much conviction? But Jake's question is eating at me. What everything else could there possibly be? I thought I'd uncovered their main deceptions, but apparently I've only scratched the surface. You know what? I say, standing up and brushing imaginary dust off my jeans. I think I'm going to go congratulate the star performer on her amazing show tonight. Mia's eyes go wide. What do you mean? Well, I missed the recital, but I can still show my support, right? Maybe post something on social media about how proud I am of my talented stepsister. I pull out my phone and start typing. Let's see. So sad I missed at Mia Dancer's incredible performance tonight. Can't wait for the next show. How does that sound? Don't you dare post that, Mia snaps, lunging for my phone. I hold it out of reach. Why not? I'm just being supportive family. Because she catches herself, but not before Jake shoots her a warning look. Because what, Mia? The siblings exchange a look that's loaded with meaning, and suddenly I realize I'm not just dealing with tonight's lies. I'm looking at two kids who built their entire relationship with my father on deception, and they're terrified their house of cards is about to collapse. There's something you need to know, Jake says quietly, ignoring Mia's sharp don't. Jake, shut up. Mia hisses, but he's already committed. The dance classes, he continues, his voice barely above a whisper. She's not actually taking them anymore. My phone freezes halfway to posting. What? She quit 6 months ago, Jake rushes on, like he can't stop now that he's started. But Mom kept telling your dad she was going, and he keeps paying for them, and Mia just goes to the mall instead. The audacity is breathtaking. So Dad's been paying for dance classes you don't attend, to support a talent you've been faking, for recitals that don't exist? Mia's face crumbles. It's not that simple. I was good at dance, I didn't like it anymore. But Mom said your dad was so proud of having our artistic stepdaughter, and if I quit, he might not. Might not what? Might not want us around anymore, she whispers. The confession hangs in the air like smoke. Despite everything, I feel a flicker of something that might be sympathy. Almost. So instead of being honest, you decided to scam him out of hundreds of dollars in fake lesson fees? We were going to tell him eventually, Jake jumps in. We wanted him to love us first. By lying to him? You don't get it. Mia's voice cracks. You're his real daughter. He has to love you no matter what. But us? We're just extra baggage that came with Mom. If we're not special enough, if we're not worth the trouble. The voices from Dad's office have stopped. The sudden silence is somehow more ominous than the shouting. How much? I ask quietly. What? How much money has Dad spent on your fake achievements? The dance classes, Jake's car for making fake varsity, the art supplies for a scholarship that doesn't exist. How much? They won't meet my eyes, which tells me everything I need to know. Thousands, Jake finally admits. Probably over $10,000. $10,000. Money that could have gone toward my college fund, or family vacations, or literally anything other than funding their elaborate fantasy lives. The front door slams so hard the windows rattle. Through the living room window, I watch Linda storm out to her car and peel out of the driveway like she's fleeing a crime scene. Dad appears in the doorway, his face stone cold. Kids, he says, his voice eerily calm. We need to have a very long talk. The next hour passes in a blur of confessions, tears, and the slow dismantling of everything I thought I knew about my family. Dad sits across from Jake and Mia like a detective interrogating suspects, and honestly, that's exactly what this has become. With Linda gone, the kids crumble faster than stale cookies. Every question Dad asks reveals another layer of deception. The dance classes weren't just discontinued 6 months ago, Mia never progressed past beginner level. All those advanced technique sessions Dad proudly bragged about to his coworkers? She spent them at the food court texting boys. Jake's varsity baseball lie was just the latest in a series of athletic fabrications. He's been benched for most of JV games this season due to poor performance, but somehow Dad's been getting glowing reports about his natural talent and leadership potential. The art scholarship thing gets even worse. Mia actually forged an acceptance letter, complete with a fake letterhead she designed herself. Dad has it framed in his office. Anything else? Dad asks, his voice hollow. Any other achievements I should know about? Academic awards? Honor roll? Student of the month? The siblings exchange another loaded look, and my stomach drops. There's the tutoring, Jake mumbles. What tutoring? The math tutoring you're paying for, Mia clarifies reluctantly. I'm not actually failing algebra. I just wanted the extra spending money. Dad closes his eyes and pinches the bridge of his nose. So let me get this straight. For the past year, I've been paying Mrs. Chin $60 a week to tutor you in a subject you're already passing? I'm getting AB+, Mia admits in a tiny voice. I do the math in my head. $60 a week for a year is over $3,000. Added to everything else, we're looking at a massive financial fraud orchestrated by my teenage step-siblings and enabled by their mother. But Dad isn't done. Jake, what about your SAT prep course? Jake's face tells the whole story before he opens his mouth. I never signed up for it. The $1,500 course? The one you've supposedly been attending every Saturday for 3 months. I've been going to Tommy's house to play video games. Dad stands up abruptly and starts pacing. Do you understand what you've done? Do you have any idea how hard I work for this money? How many extra shifts I picked up to pay for all your activities? That hits me like a truck. Dad's been working overtime to fund their lies while I've been brown bagging lunch and working weekends to save for college. All those times he looked exhausted, all those nights he came home late, he was working extra to support achievements that never existed. We didn't mean for it to get so out of hand, Mia whispers, tears streaming down her face. It started small, and then Mom said. Don't blame your mother for this, Dad snaps. You two are old enough to know right from wrong. But she told us to. Jake protests. She said you needed to see us as successful or you'd get bored with us like you did with. He cuts himself off, but the damage is done. Like I did with what, Jake? The silence stretches until it's unbearable. I can see Jake wrestling with whether to answer, glancing at Mia, who's shaking her head frantically. Like you did with your first family, he finally whispers. The words hang in the air like poison gas. Dad goes completely still. What did you just say? Mom told us, Mia jumps in, her voice desperate. She said you left your first wife when things got boring, and you'd do the same to us if we weren't interesting enough. She said we had to be special or you'd just move on. Dad's face cycles through shock, hurt, and fury. Linda told you I left because I was bored? She said you get tired of people when they don't excite you anymore, Jake adds miserably. So we had to be exciting. I watched my father's heartbreak in real time. Because here's what Linda never told them, Dad didn't leave Mom. Mom left Dad. She moved across the country with her new boyfriend while I was at summer camp, leaving Dad to explain to his 14-year-old daughter why Mommy wasn't coming home. The irony is suffocating. These kids have been lying and scheming to avoid abandonment, not knowing they were driving away the most loyal man on the planet. Dad sinks back into his chair like all the fight has gone out of him. I need some air, he says quietly, heading for the back door. And suddenly I'm alone with Jake and Mia, surrounded by the wreckage of their mother's manipulation and their own poor choices. The real question is, what happens now? The house feels like a crime scene after Dad disappears into the backyard. Jake and Mia sit frozen on the couch, mascara and tears creating abstract art on Mia's face, while I remain standing in the middle of our destroyed living room, still processing everything that just exploded. My phone buzzes. A text from Linda, tell your father I'm staying at my sister's tonight. We'll talk when he's calmed down. The audacity is stunning. She orchestrated this entire mess, poisoned her own kids' minds with lies about Dad, and now she's painting herself as the victim who needs space from his unreasonable anger. I show the text to Jake and Mia. Jake's face crumples. She's not coming back, is she? Would you? I ask, not unkindly. If you'd been caught running a years-long scam on someone? It wasn't a scam, Mia protests weakly. We just wanted. You wanted what? His money? His attention? His love? I sit down across from them, suddenly exhausted. Do you have any idea what you've actually accomplished here? They stare at me blankly. You've proven that Linda was right about one thing, you're not his real family. Because real family doesn't do this. Mia flinches like I've slapped her. That's not fair. Fair? I laugh, and it sounds bitter even to my own ears. You want to talk about fair? I've watched my dad work himself to death for 3 years trying to make you two happy. I've sat through dinner after dinner listening to him brag about your fake achievements while my real accomplishments got pushed to the side. I've been the understanding one, the flexible one, the one who doesn't make waves while you two soaked up every ounce of his attention with your elaborate lies. We didn't ask for him to work extra shifts, Jake mumbles. No, you just cashed the checks and asked for more. Through the back window, I can see Dad sitting on the porch steps, his head in his hands. 3 years of building a family with people who saw him as a mark instead of a father. The betrayal has to be devastating. My phone buzzes again. This time it's a notification from Instagram, someone tagged me in a post. My blood runs cold when I see it's from Mia's account, posted 20 minutes ago. It's a picture of our family from last Christmas, all of us smiling around the tree. The caption reads, when your stepmom ruins your family with lies, broken heart, some people can't stand seeing other people happy, #drama queen, #attention seeker, #stepmomproblem. Are you kidding me right now? I hold up my phone so they can see it. Mia's eyes go wide. I didn't post that. It's from your account. I gave Mom my password. She must have. Of course. Linda's parting shot. Can't let her precious babies take full responsibility for their actions, so she's spinning the narrative to make me the villain. The comments are already rolling in from her friends and extended family. Linda_mom47, so sorry you kids have to deal with this. 2 hearts. Ant_Carol, family should stick together. Shame on some people. Mia BFF_Jess, your stepsister sounds toxic. You deserve better. My vision goes red around the edges. It's one thing to lie and steal from my father. It's another thing entirely to publicly humiliate me to salvage their own reputation. Fix it, I tell Mia, my voice deadly quiet. I can't. Mom changed the password. Then figure it out, because I swear to God, if that post is still up in 5 minutes. You'll what? Jake stands up, suddenly finding some backbone. You've already destroyed our family. What else are you going to do? The front door opens, and Dad walks back in, his face grim. He takes one look at the tension crackling between us and sighs. What now? I hand him my phone without a word. He reads Linda's post, and his expression shifts from exhaustion to cold fury. That's it, he says quietly. Jake, Mia, pack a bag. You're going to your aunt's house. Dad, no. Mia jumps up. We can fix this. The time for fixing things was before you spent months lying to my face. Dad's voice is stone. Your mother wants to play games? Fine. She can explain to her sister why she needs emergency childcare. As Jake and Mia scramble upstairs, probably texting Linda frantically, I realize this isn't over. It's just beginning. Chunk 8. Dad's on the phone with Linda's sister Carol, his voice tight with controlled anger. I don't care if it's inconvenient, Carol. Your sister just publicly humiliated my daughter on social media after getting caught in a massive lie. They can sleep on your couch or in their car, but they're not staying here tonight. I can hear Carol's shrill voice through the phone even from across the room, something about overreacting and kids being kids. Dad's jaw clenches harder with every word. While he argues with Carol, my phone starts buzzing nonstop. The Instagram post has gone viral in our small town's social media circles. Notifications flood in, people I barely know are commenting, sharing, taking sides. Linda's painting herself as the victim of a vindictive stepdaughter, and half our community is buying it. But then I see something that makes my blood freeze. A comment from Jake's account, posted 3 minutes ago. Don't worry guys, I have receipts. Stepmom isn't the only one with secrets eyes. Jake. I call up the stairs, my voice sharp with panic. He appears at the top of the landing, overnight bag in hand, wearing a smirk that makes my stomach drop. Yeah? Delete that comment. Right now. Why? His smile widens. You got to air out all our dirty laundry tonight. Maybe it's time people heard the whole story. Dad ends his call and looks between us. What comment? Jake trots down the stairs like he's won the lottery. Oh, just setting the record straight about our perfect family. Did you know your precious daughter has been collecting evidence on us for months? Screenshots, recordings, even following us around taking pictures. My heart stops. That's not. Really? Jake pulls out his phone. Because I found some very interesting photos on your laptop last week when I borrowed it for homework. Pictures of me at Tommy's house during my supposed SAT prep. Mia at the mall during dance class. You've been building a whole stalker file on us. Dad's expression shifts from anger to confusion. Is that true? I wasn't stalking them, I protest, but my voice sounds weak even to me. I started noticing inconsistencies in their stories, so you what? Followed my kids around like some kind of private investigator? Dad's tone is changing, and not in my favor. They were lying to you. I was trying to protect you. Jake's grin turns vicious. Show him the notebook. My blood turns to ice. He knows about the notebook. What notebook? Dad asks, but he's already looking at me differently, like he's seeing me for the first time. The one in her desk drawer, Mia chimes in, appearing with her bag. The one where she's documented every suspicious thing we've done for the past 6 months. Times, dates, locations. It's seriously creepy, Dad. I want to explain that the notebook started as a way to keep track of their lies, that I wasn't being creepy but protective. But standing here under Dad's increasingly wary gaze, it sounds pathetic even to me. You've been investigating them? Dad asks quietly. Not investigating, I say desperately. Just paying attention. Someone had to notice they were scamming you. By following them around? Taking secret photos? Building files on their activities? Dad's voice rises. What kind of behavior is that? The kind that exposed their lies. My voice cracks with frustration. 5 minutes ago you were ready to throw them out for stealing from you, and now you're mad at me for discovering it? But I can see the doubt creeping into Dad's eyes. Jake and Mia exchange a look of pure triumph. Somehow, impossibly, they're turning this around on me. And Linda's not even here to see her kids execute the perfect counterattack. Dad, I say, my voice steadier than I feel, go get the notebook. Read it yourself. Jake's smirk falters slightly, but he recovers quickly. Oh please do. Read all about how your daughter has been obsessively tracking our every move like some kind of psycho. Dad disappears upstairs, and I'm left facing my step-siblings who suddenly look a lot more confident than they did 20 minutes ago. Mia's even stopped crying, her tears mysteriously dried up now that they've found an angle to work. You really thought you were so smart, Mia says, checking her reflection in her phone camera and wiping away the last traces of mascara. But you made one big mistake. What's that? You assumed Dad would take your side no matter what. But normal people don't spy on their family members. Normal people don't keep creepy surveillance logs. She tilts her head, studying me like I'm a bug under glass. Mom always said there was something off about you. My hands clench into fists. Something off about me? You've been running a con game on my father for 3 years. And you've been stalking us like a freak, Jake shoots back. Which one sounds worse to a parent? Dad's footsteps on the stairs make us all go quiet. He walks back into the living room holding my composition notebook, the one where I've been documenting every inconsistency, every lie, every red flag I've noticed. In his hands, it looks exactly like what Jake said, evidence of obsessive, unhealthy behavior. Explain this, Dad says, flipping through pages of my careful handwriting. I can see what he's reading. Entries like, March 15th, Jake said practice ran late but Tommy posted them at arcade at 3:30 p.m. Practice allegedly ended at 4 o'clock. Or, April 2nd, Mia claimed dance rehearsal, but her location was tagged at Starbucks downtown. Took photo of her through window at 6:45 p.m. Written out like that, it does look unhinged. But he's missing the context, months of watching him get played, of seeing him work extra shifts to fund their lies, of being pushed aside for fake achievements while my real ones got ignored. I started keeping track after I noticed they were lying about small things, I explain. Their stories never added up, and you were spending so much money on activities that didn't exist. I thought if I could prove. You thought you could prove what, exactly? Dad interrupts. That taking photos of your stepsister without her knowledge was normal behavior? That following Jake around town was acceptable? I never followed him around town. I saw him at the arcade once when he said he was at SAT prep, so I took a picture. You took a picture of me through a window, Jake adds helpfully. Like a stalker. Dad flips to another page. Listen to this entry, Mia's dance bag looked too clean after supposedly intense 3-hour rehearsal. No sweat stains on leotard visible through open zipper. Suspicious. He looks up at me. You were examining her dance bag? When he reads it back like that, it sounds insane. But in the moment, it made perfect sense. Everything about their stories felt wrong, and I was just trying to figure out why. Dad, they were lying to you. Everything I wrote down was true. That's not the point. Dad's voice booms through the house. The point is that this behavior is not normal. Healthy family members don't build secret files on each other. Mia starts crying again, but this time it looks more genuine. I don't feel safe here, she whispers. She's been watching us for months and we never knew. What if she has cameras in our rooms? I don't have cameras anywhere. I protest, but I can see Dad's face changing, hardening. Maybe, Jake says quietly, we should go stay with Aunt Carol after all. At least until things calm down. And just like that, they flip the script. Somehow, they're the victims again. The next morning, I wake up to an empty house and 17 missed calls from numbers I don't recognize. Dad left a note on the kitchen counter, gone to Linda's sisters to talk. Back tonight. We need to discuss your behavior. My behavior. Like I'm the one who's been running a 3-year scam. I'm halfway through a bowl of cereal when the doorbell rings. Through the peephole, I see 2 women I vaguely recognize from Linda's book club, both holding casserole dishes and wearing identical expressions of false concern. I don't answer, but they see my car in the driveway. They know I'm home. The doorbell rings again. Then again. Finally, one of them calls through the door. Sweetie, we know you're in there. We just want to help. Help. Right. They want gossip material for their next book club meeting. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Saw Linda's post. So sorry you're dealing with family drama. If you need someone to talk to. Another notification. Then another. People I barely know are sliding into my DMs with fake sympathy and real curiosity. Linda's social media campaign is working perfectly. I'm the crazy stepdaughter who destroyed a happy family with my paranoid delusions. But then I see something that makes my blood run cold. A comment on the original Instagram post from Dance Mom Central. This sounds exactly like what happened to my friend's family. Some kids just can't handle blended families and make up stories to break them up. So sad. Mom of 5 stars replied, yes. I've seen this before. The biological kids get jealous and try to sabotage the step relationships. Classic manipulation. My hands shake as I scroll through dozens of similar comments. Linda's not just destroying my reputation locally, she's tapping into some kind of nationwide network of parents who are all sharing their own stories about manipulative stepchildren. The comment section has become a support group for people dealing with vindictive biological kids who can't accept their parents' new happiness. Story after story of teenagers who made up lies about stepfamilies, who created drama for attention, who couldn't handle not being the center of their parents' universe anymore. Each story sounds like a carbon copy of what Linda's claiming about me. I screenshot everything, my hands trembling. This isn't just about our family drama anymore. Linda's connected with some kind of community that specializes in painting biological children as the villains in blended family situations. My laptop pings with an email notification. The sender is listed as Family Truth Network with a subject line, Support for Families Dealing with Biological Child Manipulation. I open it with growing horror. Dear concerned parent, we understand you're dealing with a biological child who is trying to destroy your blended family through lies and manipulation. This is more common than you think. We offer counseling services, legal advice, and community support for parents who need to protect their new families from vindictive children who refuse to accept change. They're treating me like a case study. Like a problem to be solved. But the worst part is the attached PDF, Common Behaviors of Manipulative Biological Children. The list includes things like excessive monitoring of step-siblings, collecting evidence of normal teenage behavior, creating detailed logs of family activities, and isolating the biological parent from their new spouse and children. It's like someone took my notebook and turned it into a diagnostic manual for family dysfunction. My phone rings. Dad's number. We need to talk, his voice is strained. Linda showed me some resources about what we're dealing with. I think we need professional help. Professional help. For my behavioral issues. Dad, please just come home. Let me explain. I am coming home. With Linda and a family counselor. We have an appointment at 3. The line goes dead. Linda's not just trying to save her own reputation anymore. She's building a case that I'm the real problem in our family. And somehow, she's found an entire support system to back her up. I have 4 hours to figure out how to defend myself against people who've already decided I'm guilty. I spend the next hour diving deep into this Family Truth Network rabbit hole, and what I find makes my skin crawl. It's not just a support group, it's a whole ecosystem of step-parents who weaponized psychology terminology to gaslight their partner's biological children. The website has testimonials from successful blended families where the biological children were either sent to boarding school, moved in with their other parent, or learned to accept their place in the new family structure. There are recommended therapists who specialize in biological child integration issues and even legal resources for parents who want to limit custody or claim parental alienation. Linda didn't just stumble onto this. She's been planning this nuclear option. My laptop chimes with another email, this one from someone calling herself a blended family success coach. The message is clearly a template. I understand you're struggling with a biological child who refuses to integrate healthily into your blended family. This behavior often escalates during major transitions, like 18th birthdays when they feel their special status is threatened. I offer intensive family restructuring sessions. They're not even trying to hide that this is a business model. Convince parents their biological kids are the problem, then sell them expensive solutions. But the most chilling part is a forum thread titled Emergency Interventions when BC, biological child, becomes dangerous to family unit. The stories are horrifying. Kids who got sent away for threatening family stability, teenagers who were essentially exiled from their own homes for refusing to accept reasonable boundaries. One post from Stepmomstrong 2019 reads, had to have DH's daughter removed from our home after she started documenting our family activities. Therapists said this surveillance behavior indicated serious antisocial tendencies. She's much happier with her grandmother now, and our real family can finally heal. Another, SD tried to expose my son's learning disability accommodations as cheating. Classic manipulation tactic, making normal family support look like deception. After 6 months of family therapy, DH finally saw the truth about his daughter's toxic influence. The acronyms make my stomach turn. DH for dear husband. SD for stepdaughter. BC for biological child. They've turned family relationships into clinical categories, making it easier to justify treating someone's kid like a disease that needs to be cured or removed. My phone buzzes. A text from Dad, running late. 4 p.m. instead of 3. Use the time to think about what you want to say to Dr. Peterson. Dr. Peterson. I Google the name and find exactly what I expected, one of the recommended professionals from Linda's network. Her website specializes in high-conflict blended family dynamics and addressing biological child resistance to family integration. Every testimonial follows the same pattern: troubled blended family, biological child acting out, intensive therapy sessions, and finally the biological child either accepting their new role or being transitioned to a more suitable environment. Linda's not just trying to win this argument. She's trying to get me removed from my own home. The front door slams, making me jump. Dad's voice carries from the entryway, but he's not alone. Linda's voice mingles with his, along with a third voice I don't recognize, probably Dr. Peterson. I close my laptop and try to steady my breathing. In about 30 seconds, I'm going to walk into an ambush disguised as family therapy, where a professional will use my own documentation against me to prove I'm a threat to family stability. But I'm not going down without a fight. I grab my notebook, the one they're using as evidence of my obsessive behavior, and flip to a page I hadn't shown Dad last night. A page titled Linda's Coaching Sessions, where I documented her phone calls with someone about managing David's daughter and long-term integration strategies. Because if Linda thinks she's the only one who can play the documentation game, she's about to learn otherwise. The voices are getting closer. Time to see if Dr. Peterson is interested in hearing both sides of the story. I walk into the living room to find Dad, Linda, and a woman in a beige blazer sitting around our coffee table like this is a normal family meeting. Dr. Peterson looks exactly like her website photo, professionally warm smile, clipboard ready, the kind of person who probably uses words like healing journey unironically. There she is, Linda says, her voice dripping with concerned maternal energy. Sweetie, this is Dr. Peterson. She's here to help us work through everything. Dr. Peterson extends her hand with practiced ease. Hello, I'm Dr. Peterson. Your parents have filled me in on some of the recent family dynamics. I understand this has been a challenging time for everyone. I shake her hand, noting how she said parents plural. Already establishing Linda's authority in my own home. Where are Jake and Mia? I ask, taking the chair farthest from Linda. They're still at Carol's, Dad says, not meeting my eyes. Dr. Peterson thought it would be best to start with a core family unit. Core family unit. Like my step-siblings are the center and I'm the dysfunction that needs to be managed around them. Dr. Peterson settles into her chair with theatrical comfort. Now, I want everyone to feel safe sharing their experiences. Linda, would you like to start by explaining what brought us here today? Of course. Linda's voice trembles with perfectly practiced emotion. David's daughter has been struggling with our blended family for some time now. We've tried to be patient, but her behavior has escalated to a very concerning level. I open my mouth to object, but Dr. Peterson holds up a gentle but firm hand. Let's allow everyone to share their perspective without interruption first. She's been secretly monitoring Jake and Mia for months, Linda continues. Taking photos, keeping detailed logs of their activities, following them places. When they started succeeding in school and extracurriculars, her surveillance became obsessive. The way she frames it makes my documentation sound like stalking, while completely erasing the lies that made the documentation necessary. The final incident occurred when she ambushed the children with accusations designed to humiliate them in front of David. She had clearly been planning this attack for some time, collecting what she called evidence to destroy their relationship with their stepfather. Dr. Peterson nods sympathetically, scribbling notes. And how did this make you feel as their mother? Terrified, Linda says, her voice breaking slightly. My children came to me asking if they were safe in this house. They're afraid of what she might do next, what other private information she might have collected about them. That's not, I start, but Dr. Peterson's raised hand stops me again. Linda, from a clinical perspective, this surveillance behavior is indeed concerning, Dr. Peterson says, and I watch Dad's face tighten with worry. Obsessive monitoring of family members often indicates underlying attachment disorders or difficulty processing change. She's diagnosing me based entirely on Linda's version of events. This isn't therapy, it's a predetermined intervention. David, how are you processing these revelations about your daughter's behavior? Dad finally looks at me, and what I see in his eyes breaks my heart. Doubt. Fear. Like he's looking at a stranger. I'm confused, he admits. I raised her to be honest and straightforward. But this secretive behavior, the surveillance. I don't understand where it came from. Often these behaviors emerge when a child feels their position in the family is threatened, Dr. Peterson explains, like I'm not sitting right here. The biological child may resort to manipulation tactics to reclaim what they perceive as their rightful place as the primary relationship. Every word she speaks makes me sound more unstable, more dangerous. Now, Dr. Peterson turns to me with professional warmth that feels like a spider's web. I'd love to hear your perspective on these family dynamics. I look at Dad, at Linda's satisfied smirk, at Dr. Peterson's expectant face. Time to see if they're ready for the whole truth. I take a deep breath and pull out my notebook, watching Dr. Peterson's eyebrows raise slightly at the sight of what Linda's already painted as evidence of my obsessive behavior. I'd like to start with something Linda conveniently left out, I say, flipping to a page about halfway through. The phone calls. Linda's confident expression falters just a fraction. What phone calls, sweetie? Dr. Peterson asks in that patronizing tone therapists use when they think you're about to prove their point. The ones Linda had every Tuesday night for 3 months with someone she called her family integration specialist. I clear my throat and read from my notes. March 12, 10:47 p.m., the biological child is still too attached. We need to accelerate the replacement dynamic. March 19th, same time, David's starting to see Jake as his real son, but she keeps interfering with bonding opportunities. Dad's head snaps up. What are you talking about? Your wife has been getting coaching on how to push me out of this family, Dad. Professional coaching. I flip another page. March 26th, the specialist says 18 is the perfect age for biological children to naturally distance themselves. We just need to create the right incentives for her to choose independence. Linda's face has gone pale. That's not, you were eavesdropping on private conversations. I was getting a glass of water when I heard you talking about replacing me like a broken appliance. I turn to Dr. Peterson, whose pen has stopped moving. Is it normal for step-parents to consult specialists on how to eliminate their spouse's biological children from the family unit? Dr. Peterson looks between Linda and me, and I see the first crack in her professional certainty. Linda, can you clarify what these conversations were about? Family integration support is completely normal. Linda's voice rises defensively. Blended families need guidance, and yes, I sought professional advice about helping our family dynamics. By planning to push out Dad's daughter? I press. Because I have 6 pages of notes about these calls, including the one where you discussed creating documentation of problematic behaviors to justify therapeutic intervention. The room goes dead silent. You documented my private therapy consultations? Linda's mask finally slips completely. That's a violation of privacy. That's psychotic behavior. Like documenting fake dance classes and non-existent baseball achievements? I shoot back. At least I was documenting real conversations about real plans to manipulate my father. Dr. Peterson sets down her pen entirely. I think we need to slow down here. Linda, when you reached out to my colleague about family integration strategies, was the goal to help your stepdaughter adjust, or to? Your colleague? I interrupt. Dr. Peterson, are you part of this network Linda found? The one that specializes in removing biological children from blended families? Dr. Peterson's professional composure cracks. I think there may be some misunderstanding about. No misunderstanding. I pull out my phone and show her the email I received this morning. I got invited to join the support group for families dealing with manipulative biological children. Your name is on the referral list. Dad takes the phone from my hands, reading the email with growing horror. Linda, what the hell is this? It's support, David. Support for our family situation. Linda's desperation is showing now. Do you see how she's turning this around? This is exactly the kind of manipulation they warned us about. They warned you? Dad's voice is dangerously quiet. Who is they, Linda? Dr. Peterson stands up abruptly. I think this session needs to be postponed until we can. Sit down, Dad says, his tone leaving no room for argument. Dr. Peterson, I want to know exactly what kind of family integration you and Linda have been planning for my daughter. The carefully orchestrated intervention Linda arranged is crumbling in real time, and everyone in the room knows it. But I can see Linda calculating, preparing her next move. She's not done fighting. And something tells me her backup plan is going to be much worse than anything we've seen so far. Dr. Peterson shifts uncomfortably in her chair, clearly realizing she's walked into something much messier than Linda described. Perhaps we should reschedule when everyone has had time to. No. Dad's voice cuts through her diplomatic retreat. I want answers. Now. He turns to Linda with an expression I've never seen before, cold, calculating, almost clinical. How long have you been planning to get rid of my daughter? Linda's composure finally cracks completely. Get rid of her? David, that's not, she's twisting everything. Yes, I sought guidance about our family dynamics, but only because she's been sabotaging us from day one. Sabotaging you how? I ask, genuinely curious now. By existing? By living in my own home? By noticing when your kids lie? By refusing to accept that this family isn't just about you anymore. Linda explodes, abandoning all pretense of maternal concern. You walk around here like you own the place, like David owes you something just because you were here first. The honesty is breathtaking. Finally, after 3 years, Linda's showing her real face. She does own the place, Dad says quietly. This is her home. These are her things. This is her family. He stands up slowly, towering over Linda. And you just admitted you've been trying to change that. Dr. Peterson makes another attempt to regain control. David, I think what Linda is expressing is frustration with. Dr. Peterson, I'm curious about something, I interrupt, pulling out my laptop. When Linda contacted your network about our family situation, did she mention that Jake and Mia have been stealing thousands of dollars from my dad through fake achievements? That's not relevant to. Or that they lied about a recital to avoid my 18th birthday? Did that come up in your professional assessment? Dr. Peterson's silence speaks volumes. Dad takes my laptop and starts scrolling through the screenshots I've collected. His face gets darker with each revelation, the support groups, the removal strategies, the diagnostic criteria designed to pathologize biological children. This is sick, he says finally. Linda, you connected with people who make a business out of breaking up families? I connected with people who understand blended family challenges. Linda stands up, matching his energy. People who know how to help when biological children refuse to integrate properly. Integrate? I laugh, but there's no humor in it. Like I'm some kind of foreign object that needs to be absorbed or expelled? Maybe you are. Linda snaps, and there it is, the truth she's been hiding for 3 years. Maybe some families just aren't meant to blend. Maybe some people are too selfish to share their parent with anyone else. The room goes dead silent except for the sound of Dr. Peterson frantically packing her briefcase. Dad stares at Linda like he's seeing her for the first time. Get out. David, please, let me explain. Get out. His voice booms through the house. Take your manipulation manuals and your fake therapist and your fucking integration strategies and get out of my house. This is my house too. I've lived here for 3 years. You've been running a con game for 3 years, I correct. There's a difference. Linda whirls on me, her mask completely gone now. You sanctimonious little bitch. You think you've won something here? You think destroying our family makes you the hero? I didn't destroy anything, I say calmly. I just stopped pretending your lies were truth. Your father will never forgive you for this. When he realizes what you've cost him, his wife, his stepchildren, his chance at a real family, he'll wish he'd listened to me. Dad steps between us, his face stone cold. Linda, you have 30 minutes to pack whatever you can carry. Anything else, you can arrange to get later. With supervision. You're choosing her over us? Over everything we built? You didn't build anything. You performed a 3-year audition for a role in a family that was never yours to direct. Linda's face twists with rage and desperation. Fine. Fine. But don't come crying to me when you realize what you've lost. And don't expect Jake and Mia to forgive either of you for this. She storms toward the stairs, but pauses at the bottom step. Oh, and David? Check your bank accounts. All of them. Because if you think the fake dance classes were the only financial arrangements you weren't aware of. She disappears upstairs, leaving Dad and me staring at each other in the wreckage of what we thought was our family. Dr. Peterson clears her throat awkwardly. I think it's best if I leave now. Obviously this situation is more complex than initially presented. Obviously, Dad says without looking at her. After she's gone, Dad sinks into his chair like he's aged a decade in the past hour. Dad? I venture carefully. What did she mean about the bank accounts? He closes his eyes and pinches the bridge of his nose. I guess we're about to find out. Dad's hands shake as he logs into his laptop, pulling up our bank accounts while Linda crashes around upstairs, slamming drawers and muttering what sound like threats. Each click reveals another layer of financial betrayal that makes my stomach drop further. Jesus Christ, Dad whispers, staring at the screen. The college fund. There are transfers I never authorized. My college fund. The one Dad's been building since I was 10, fed by birthday money from grandparents and his overtime shifts. I lean over his shoulder and watch him scroll through months of transfers to accounts I don't recognize. $1,500 in January for Jake's car insurance, Dad reads, his voice hollow. $2,000 in March for Mia's summer dance intensive. Another $1,000 for family emergency in April. Dad, I never got any of these confirmations, I say, checking my email. She must have changed the account notifications to her address. We sit in stunned silence as the scope of Linda's deception becomes clear. It wasn't just about fake achievements and manipulated family dynamics. She was systematically draining my future to fund her children's lies. $18,000, Dad says finally. She stole $18,000 from your college fund. The front door slams so hard the windows rattle, followed by the screech of Linda's tires as she tears out of our driveway like she's fleeing a crime scene. Which, I guess, she is. Dad closes the laptop and looks at me with eyes full of exhaustion and guilt. I'm so sorry. I'm so incredibly sorry. Dad. No, let me say this. He takes a shaky breath. I let someone into our home who saw you as an obstacle instead of my daughter. I let her convince me that love was a finite resource that had to be divided instead of multiplied. I let her steal from you, your money, your celebrations, your place in this family. And I almost let her take your home too. Tears I didn't realize I'd been holding back start falling. I thought I was losing you. I thought you loved them more than me. Never. Dad's voice breaks. Not for 1 second, not ever. You are my daughter. This is your home. That has never changed, even when I was too blind to see what Linda was doing to us. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Your stepsister wanted me to send this. The attached image makes my blood boil. It's a photo of Jake and Mia at what looks like a restaurant, both grinning and holding up drinks in a mock toast. Mia's holding a sign that reads freedom from crazy stepsister, while Jake's giving the camera a middle finger. I show Dad, who stares at it for a long moment before laughing, actually laughing. What's funny about this? They're celebrating at TGI Fridays with what looks like $20 between them, Dad says, pointing to their obviously cheap meals. Linda probably has about $300 in cash and a maxed out credit card. They're about to learn what the real world looks like when you can't con your way through it. He's right. Whatever money Linda managed to steal won't last long, especially not supporting 3 people who've gotten used to Dad's generosity. What happens now? I ask. Dad stands up and walks to the mantel, taking down the framed photo of Linda's fake scholarship letter that he displayed so proudly. He drops it in the trash without ceremony. Now we clean house. Literally and figuratively. He turns to me with the first genuine smile I've seen from him in months. And then we plan you a real 18th birthday celebration. One that nobody can lie their way out of attending. Just us? Just us, he confirms. The way it should have been all along. As Dad starts removing traces of Linda's manipulation from our home, I realize something that makes me smile for the first time in days. They didn't win by breaking us apart. We won by refusing to stay broken.